Alright, so before this video starts, I wanted to let you guys know that I do have some merch now. It's nothing super special, it's just a Teespring shop that I've launched. And in that store, you can get some merch that has my face on it, my name on it, a slogan on it. You can get a coffee mug or a throw pillow. And the one thing about the pillow is that I was informed by my girlfriend that nobody would buy a pillow with my face on it, so any of you willing to prove her wrong can go ahead and use the link in the description and go to my Teespring store. And with that, my 30 seconds of begging for your money is over, and we will talk about the topic that you clicked on the video for. So, anyway. Recently, Infinity Ward said they're going to increase communication with the player base. They said this basically right when I thought they would, right after New Year's, about January 3rd. At the time I'm recording this, about 2 days ago, they said that they wanted to increase communication with the community. This is around the time it happened with Infinite Warfare. I knew the holidays were busy. Getting the game launched was, probably hell for them, then getting all of those, patches out afterwards, and then being disorganized, holidays coming up. I was going to cut them slack in the same way that I cut Treyarch slack, the same way I cut Battlefield 5 slack. There are things I still want changed about Modern Warfare, and I have frustrations, but I don't want to air them again or right now because obviously they just said they're going to start communicating more, so that means we're going to get info on updates. So I don't want to complain just yet. We want to give it a little bit more time. For me, the game is very fun and more than playable, so I'm just content to sit and wait and see what they do about some of the major issues that the community has with the game. So, a while back when this game first came out, I said that people were playing slow and campy to the degree that they were because they had to learn the game. They had to learn the maps, and I mean actually learn the maps. Learning all the flank routes and lines of sight and angles of exposure is difficult in a game with complicated maps, and Call of Duty players haven't had to deal with that since Call of Duty Ghosts, maybe a little bit in Advanced Warfare and COD World War II, but for the most part, map design got very simple and movement got sped up, so people didn't have to learn maps really all that much. In fact, back in the day, I used to help Exclusive Ace find interesting spots on maps for his Maps Exposed series back in Advanced Warfare, and I always would joke around with him this spot on this map would be cool if players weren't constantly sprinting and sliding and, boost jumping around, because then you could catch somebody off guard, but nobody's gonna sit still long enough for them to be caught off guard, so spots and angles of exposure were basically meaningless. So yeah, my theory was because these maps are so complicated compared to what we've had recently, I just assumed that Call of Duty players needed to learn and adapt to the maps. So, was I right about this? Yes, you can already see by the title and the description. I feel like I'm very much so correct about this, especially due to the game modes I play, for sure, and we'll talk about that. But also, I just feel like across the board, I've noticed less camping. And I think this is for a couple reasons. People have grown confident with the game if they've kept playing it. People have learned the map so they know where to be and where not to be and how to move through them instead of just constantly running into a power position and dying, or running into a building where somebody likes to camp and then just dying. People are learning how to flank, and also people are becoming more familiar with ways to counter campers. People have a zero tolerance for campers anymore. I see so many people just lobbing multiple RPGs into rooms in this game now because they see somebody in a room and they just light it the fuck up. Again, this is my personal perspective, and this is definitely going to be influenced by the game modes I play, but I do think those factors come into play. People are more confident, people are learning the equipment, and people are learning the maps, and they're getting a feel for the game, and that has to happen. We have to let people learn Call of Duty. This is why I'm on the side that says adapt to this Call of Duty game, because I feel like a lot of Call of Duty players expect all of their skills to transfer every year, from game to game, and I just don't think the franchise will last if the games are so comparable that your skills do transfer. And previously, I drew a comparison from Modern Warfare to Call of Duty Ghosts, because for me personally, when Call of Duty Ghosts came out, I wasn't very good at it at all. Because learning to navigate complicated maps with flank routes and tons of angles of exposure and little passageways and everything, it took a while to get used to. And then of course, building up your gun skill and figuring out, how to build your classes for different situations that arise in the game. All of that knowledge is important, and if you don't take the time to learn it, you will consistently play in a state of frustration. So I know that I feel more comfortable being aggressive in Modern Warfare because I know the routes to take, I know how to be less predictable, and I know the equipment to run to counter the people that refuse to move. But like I've said twice now in this video, I'm sure it mostly comes down to the game modes I play, because I don't play Team Deathmatch or Domination in this game. And from the polls a lot of you guys voted on, most of you guys are playing TDM and Domination. And there's nothing really wrong with that. But you have to expect more campers in a game mode that doesn't encourage you to move like TDM, and a game mode that requires you to lock down map control like Domination. Yes, maybe in some other Call of Duty game like Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 2, Domination played quicker, but this is not those games, and this game, if it was based around map control, it's going to play a lot campier, due to the nature of how these maps are designed. So, what do I play? Hardpoint, Headquarters, Kill Confirmed, Cyber Attack, Search and Destroy, and 10v10. I've already talked about this in a previous video, so I'm not going to bang this drum too hard, but if you don't play game modes that make people move, like Hardpoint or Headquarters or Kill Confirmed, or maps that have higher player density like 10v10, you're going to deal with a lot of annoying little campers. And I don't mean people locking down a window. I don't mean people getting on top of the big building on Crash and shooting down on you all game. That's not really a camper. I mean somebody sitting in a corner, not progressing the game at all. Those people get absolutely left in the dust when it comes to objective game modes that force you to move. But luckily the pace of the game isn't fatiguing because it still allows people to slow down. Hardpoint on Grozny Raid is a great example, because that map is designed for 10v10, but in 6v6 Hardpoint the action is ever moving, and I feel like I can take a long-range sniper role, I could play it a more objective, getting on the Hardpoint role with an SMG and C4s, or I could do, kind of a stealthy flanking role, always going for the cutoffs, taking people out before they can touch the hardpoint, and that sort of variety is what makes a game replayable to me. I'm sure everybody in the comment section can swap stories about their current experiences with Modern Warfare and how they feel about the game. That's totally cool, and right now I'm sharing with you my own. I've noticed more people being aggressive, more people moving around, more people trying to control the map, other than just waiting for you to actually, be stupid enough to traverse it. I think a lot of people are spreading misinformation and creating a sort of caricature of Modern Warfare without actually ever talking about what the game actually is. In fact, I've seen people spreading rumors around that, oh, it nerfs you. If you're doing well, it makes your gun do less damage than your opponent's, which would be very easy to test, but there's no actual evidence of it happening, and the only evidence I've ever seen, air quotes evidence I've ever seen, mostly just looks like bad connection, which is an actual issue this game has, where pings are unusually high, and no matter what kind of type of internet you have, you'll just get weirdly high pings and packet loss indicators for no reason, so hopefully that's being optimized behind the scenes. But I'll end the video saying this. The perspective glitch in this game is a real problem, where the left side of your body peeks out around cover more than your right side, and also you have the problem with connections like I just stated, and then there's certain weapons that just don't fit in with the meta at all, and they feel fundamentally useless to play with, and I only level them up in hardcore modes, where the meta just seems to fade away into one-shot kill bliss. But as much as I hope those issues are fixed, I wanted you guys to know that I think I was correct in stating that people needed time, and I think now that that time's been given to a lot of people, people are more comfortable, people are moving faster, they're playing more aggressive, and the odd times I see somebody being a pain-in-the-ass camper, they're not winning a game for their team, they're not dominating people, and if you're feeding those types of players kills, that's on you. At this point, there's not really a lot of excuses you can have. Unless you are in a lobby where an entire enemy team is camping, well then, I don't know what to tell you. Just leave those games, those crazy, outlier games where the entire enemy team refuses to move, leave those behind. Call of Duty is a casual game. If you're just playing games of Kill Confirmed or TDM or something, then don't be afraid to leave a game if the enemies and your teammates are just making it severely unfun. If you just can't play and nothing you do works, don't be afraid to leave. Just be honest with yourself. Did you really give it your all, or do you just not like losing? Something I ask myself sometimes. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, this is just my general thoughts. It's not really a big deal, but if you like this kind of content, I guess subscribe. I'll see you when I see you guys. Goodbye.